This is this is Stephen Tucker doing his persuasive speech. I have my audience here. Growing up in Texas, you hear a lot of claims on history for different families. A common one is that you're a descendant of Davy Crockett or other historical figures, that you have Native American origin, such as having your great 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 grandmother be a Cherokee. And this cultural practice points towards a larger truth, which is, whether or not it's true, misunderstanding your history can lead you to misunderstand your identity. As a multi-generational Texan who is going to be a future Aggie, I decided to research the origin and history of Texas A&M University. And what I found was pretty surprising. And that is that Abraham Lincoln, yes, that Abraham Lincoln, was a foundational figure in the creation of the university. Today I'm going to explain why I believe Abraham Lincoln should get more recognition as a founder or someone who played a crucial role in the origins of the school. I'm going to do this by looking at two specific acts that were signed during the Lincoln era by the federal government, which is the Morrill Act and the Pacific Railway Act. Most people assume that A&M was created solely by the Texas legislature in the 1870s. And this is partially true, but A&M's legal and financial foundation was set by federal acts such as the Morrill Land Grant Act, which I want to go into a little bit fuller. But to touch on the original misunderstanding that it was solely based on the Texas legislature, the reason why that's partially true is because Texas did vote to take the land grant money and create Texas A&M University, but it was only 13 years after the fact because the act was originally signed in 1862. The reason for this is likely due to Texas being an ex-Confederate state in a post-Civil War America, where there was much more suspicion over the federal government and their role in uh, areas like education. So while Texas did capitalize on the vision, the possibility of it was created by Lincoln's federal government. So let's talk about the Morrill Act as making land-grant colleges possible. According to historian Gordon C. Lee, writing in um, the agricultural history, the Pacific Railway, the Morrill Act was designed to bring practical higher education to ordinary Americans in agriculture and the mechanical arts. By not understanding this means we do not understand A&M's original land grant identity. And that plays a crucial role into the identity of A&M now as an agricultural school who expands education to working class families. So now let's talk about the Pacific Railway Act. As historian Sarah Phillips and her colleagues explain in agricultural history, the Pacific Railway Act expanded national railroad lines, including the line that created the rail stop called College Station. This is the reason why it's called College Station in the first place, because of the college that was placed there and the train station that was made possible by the Pacific Railway that expanded through Brazos County. So you had a college and you had a train station, which is why they call it College Station. But if you don't have the railroad and you don't have the campus or the college, then you have no College Station, and you have no Texas A&M. So both the financial and physical location are all tied to Lincoln. So let's talk about Lincoln's philosophy. He wanted to expand opportunity and modernize the nation by making it accessible through railroads and through funding. So he had a vision of practical, accessible education that Texas A&M was a part of as a national movement. Historian Vernon Burton writes that Lincoln's signing of the Morrill Act helps create what became known as democracy colleges, or practical universities for working Americans. And as we've discussed already, A&M fits directly into this national movement. So, if you're interested in Texas history, or you know someone who is a fan of A&M, or who is attending, or if you're attending yourself, imagine viewing it as a part of a national education reform and a national movement to bring education to the working class. Imagine connecting A&M to broader ideas of access, agriculture, and engineering. This makes A&M's rise all the more meaningful from going to from a humble land grant college on a train stop town to a global powerhouse in petroleum engineering, agriculture, and athletics. So by understanding these roots, it strengthens the school identity, student connection, and our understanding of America at the time and A&M's identity now. So what should we do with this information? Really, I think the only thing I want you to do with this information is to include Lincoln when telling A&M's origin story and recognize that the Morrill Act and the Pacific Railway Act were foundational for the creation of Texas A&M as both a Texas institution, American institution, and a global institution. Thank you. So today we're going to do a quick Q&A. I don't know why I'm turning the camera, but we're going to do a Q&A session now. So who would like to go first?
So why do you think Abraham Lincoln's influence on Texas A&M is overlooked in popular history?
I think that that's probably goes back to the original citizens of Texas, where I do think it was suspicious of federal acts. And even to this day, a lot of people are suspicious of the federal government in education. So I think it goes back even to then to where they might not have been as inclined to claim Lincoln um, or rely on the federal government in that way. And I also think that Texans are proud of like Texas history and Texas government. And so we don't like to cede any of that to the federal government much. So that could be an explanation. Who's next?
Is historical accuracy more important than tradition when telling a university's origin story?
I think that historical accuracy is important because it it makes the traditions and more rich. So by understanding our history, it makes the understanding of the current identity more rich. So right now, I think it's not. I think we're missing something by not including Lincoln, and and he affected a lot in the country, but and so he's got a lot of credit for a lot of things, but surprisingly, A&M should be one of them, and other land grant colleges, which exist to this day, but none of them have grown as much as A&M ended up doing. So who's next?
How might recognizing Lincoln's role influence how students view their education today?
I think by recognizing this role, you can look at as your education, if you're going to Texas A&M, as a continuation of a national movement that brings accessible education to working class and agricultural areas. So it can root you in history more if you understand it and make you proud to be a part of that national vision that Lincoln originally brought to life. So, anyways, that's our Q&A today. Thank you so much.